You got a shiver in the dark, it's raining in the park, but meantime, Nikon Z6 Mark III. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thomas Love here from beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia, and today, as usual, I am torn in between Leica and Nikon because those are the two brands that I like the most, and so I'm following all the new anticipations, rumors, releases, and this time we were talking about a high-speed Nikon camera because they said that due to the Olympics upcoming in 2024, they needed a high-speed camera to, do some sport photography accordingly and take track of everything that's going on over there in the Olympics. And so we were expecting this new release. Sorry, there's a huge puddle down here. I had to dodge it. And so we were expecting this new release, and people were also expecting something, a bit more news about the new generation of the Z6, of the Z7, because right now, guys, we're having the Z9, that was impressive, the Z8 that pleased everybody, the ZF that became oh so popular and went sold out everywhere. And so we were expecting something in between because the Z8 might please people like myself with big hands. I would never consider the Z6 and the Z7 because they're such a gimmicky small toy to me, but the ZF definitely it's maybe not enough for pro users. So for prosumers it's super good, but for pro users, for sports, for the Olympics, well, we needed more of that. And so we were expecting the release of this new high-speed Nikon camera, and finally something leaked. So on Nikon rumors they started talking about this new Z6 Mark III because apparently the new high-speed camera will be this Z6 Mark III. Now, when you say high-speed camera, I was expecting something like a global shutter because that's fast for me. I'm not saying that I will love to have a global shutter, but I do understand that if you want a fast camera, maybe you want to go for that global shutter of yours that can grant you like 120 FPS in RAW. And ideally, we don't know if it's gonna have a global shutter or not, because the few specs that leaked already are talking about a brand new 24.5 megapixel BSI sensor. We don't even know if it's gonna be stacked or not. I assume it's gonna be stacked, otherwise we have to assume it's gonna have a global shutter. Otherwise, where's this high speed if it's not stacked and if it's not having a global shutter, right? And then a couple of pictures leaked already. And these pictures, that's a discussion ongoing, especially on the Facebook group where everybody says, this is a Z8, it looks like a Z8, but apparently the new Nikon Z6 Mark III, it's not gonna have the same form factor as the Mark II. It's gonna be a different camera, just a bit bigger, and as a size, it's in between the current Z6, Z7 and the Z8, so it's something in between. So it's gonna have probably a bigger battery than the ZF, otherwise we would see posts of reporters and sport photographers at the Olympics with the Nikon ZF. I don't think it's gonna happen. And so this brand new camera, it's gonna have a bigger form factor and ideally also a bigger battery to go through the day. And then I remember that Nikon is used to these kind of things, because if you think that they had three very different cameras, the Nikon ZF-C, the Z50, the Z30, they are basically the same camera with the same specs, then I think this is what we're gonna witness. Probably the Nikon ZF specs and inner parts of the camera implemented in a Z6 Mark III body with, I don't know, IBIS, with autofocusing that they have already in the ZF. It's not complete, it's not as magnificent as the Z8, it's not as magnificent as the Z9, it's a compromise. But when you shrink down the body, now a changing form factor, if we want to consider it, when a company has to change form factor, it's because they're having different considerations. I can think of a good example, which is the DJI, when they switched from the DJI Action to the Action 2, that is the modular version that I am using, and then the DJI Action 3, they went back to the GoPro form factor. And so for a company changing form factor, it means that something is going on. There are new considerations to be done and new things to be taken into account. And so if Nikon is releasing a Nikon ZF, ideally more or less with the same specs, but in a different form factor, well, this must be something that consumers are asking for, like a bigger capacity battery. It's not gonna have a flippy screen. Apparently from the specs that leaked, it's not gonna have a completely flippable screen. It's gonna have a tiltable screen. So changing the inclination, whether you want to shot from above or from down below, you can change the inclination and having tilt out, but not completely tiltable. So that would not be good for vlogging. But if you want to have a high-speed Nikon, then I don't think you're gonna use it for vlogging. But anyway, let's stay tuned because the new year is approaching and each and all of the camera brands have something hidden in their pockets and they just want to take it out and present it to you. So Q1 2024, we were discussing already the Leica SL3. We will be waiting for the Nikon Z6 Mark III. So stay tuned because I'm gonna follow all the anticipations and the leaks and the specs and the release just because I'm a Nikon fanboy as well as a Leica fanboy and because it's just fun. And then when it's gonna be released, I will try to get it in my hands, try it for you and let you know my impressions of it. So with that, I hope you got some value out of this video. If you did, please remember to like it, share it on your social media, subscribe to the channel so you won't miss new videos to come, and I guess I will see you later. Thank you. Bye-bye.